I've accidentally made a Metallica breakdown. Welcome back guys to another edition of Looted. Today we are checking out the Stylophone Beatbox Pocket Drum Machine. Now last year we checked out the original Stylophone, which is a pocket synthesizer, this little guy right here. And if I remember correctly, these were first manufactured in which is quite a while ago. If you want to find out more about the original Stylophone, check out our video here. But today we are talking about the Stylophone Beatbox. Now the Stylophone Beatbox came out a lot more recently than the original Stylophone. I think this came out in 2009, though I can't say for sure. It just has a retro design, so it does look very, very similar to the original Stylophone, but it's definitely not as old. So with this beatbox, you can make 3 sounds. You've got percussion, bass, and beatbox sounds. You can also record, and it has a loop function, and you can also adjust the tempo, tuning, and the volume control. So this is quite a versatile little piece of kit right here. Get this out the box, and look at that. Now this is my favorite thing about the Stylophone instruments is the design. It's got a retro future vibe, like something you would see in Star Trek. Or it's got one of the peely seals. Ooh. So as well as the beatbox itself, in the box you also get a aux cable and a little book. That made a lot more noise than I expected. So let's have a quick rundown on the things that you get on the beatbox itself. On the top here, you've got your audio in and out, so you can plug in headphones or speakers to have a better audio quality, or you can play music into the Stylophone and play it out the internal speaker, so you can play over songs. On the side here, you've got your volume control, and then here you've got your sound options. So number 1 is human beatbox, 2 is percussion and drum, and 3 is bass. And then on the bottom here, you've got your tuning dial, so you can adjust the pitch with that. On the bottom here, you can adjust your tempo, and on the front here you can record and loop your bass lines and drum beats, and you've got your on and off switch on the side there. Now if you haven't seen the Stylophone before, to play this you're going to need to use the inbuilt stylus, which you can pop out here, and it's connected via a cable, and you're going to use the touchpad here to play your beats. So enough talk, let's give this thing a go. Now this is probably the part where you're all wondering, can he actually play anything on this instrument? And if you've been on this channel before, chances are you already know the answer to that question, which is no. I'm gonna give it a good goddamn try. Let's go ahead and start with sound mode 3, which I believe is bass. Let's go ahead and tune this thing a little bit so it's a little bit higher pitch. Bit lower. So to play the Stylophone, you can either tap the touchpad like that, or you can drag the stylus across the touchpad, but depending what pitch you're on, it may not sound that great. Exhibit A. So on the rim of the touchpad, there are actually a few hidden buttons, and if you press them, it will play a scratch sample, which I didn't know was a thing until I accidentally pressed one. Get the f*** up! Simon says get the f*** up! I played a tune, which is actually from a song. That never happens. And we can even make that into our first loop. So to do that, we just need to hit the record button, it should flash red. Play the tune, hit play. Easy and rewarding. So those were the bass sounds. Let's try out drum and percussion. It's got a very, very techno vibe to it, hasn't it? The real fun thing about these instruments is that you really don't need to play it seriously. You can just go ahead and just make some pure noise, which is always a bit of a stress reliever if you ask me. Soothing sounds of noise. So when you've got a loop going, you can adjust the tempo with the button on the bottom, like so. Oh, it's gone all wrong. I've really messed up this loop. I've accidentally made a Metallica breakdown. And after all that, we've still got one sound mode to try out, and that's the human beatbox. So let's flick it to 1 and give it a go. That's a kill. Oh, 1, 2. It sounds like What? Kill! I mean, that does make a lot more sense because I think what and kill is a bit too edgy for such a retro looking machine. That one sample reminds me of the RizApp ads. If you don't know what that is, good on you. I do like the fact that the sample in the middle of this thing is basically just an advertisement.
Stylophone.
Let's go ahead and make that sample into an absolute mess. Slowly turning into a Death Grip sample. Now there's one thing I want to try because the internal speaker is great and all. Alright, well if I'm being honest, it is quite tinny. It's not the best quality speaker. So let's go ahead and plug it into something just a bit better. Plug that into the back there and let's see if this is working straight off the bat. Well, suffice to say, that is a major improvement on the audio quality, isn't it? But it's good to know that it isn't just the machine producing a low quality sound. It actually does produce a very high quality sound. It just comes through a not very high quality speaker unless you plug it into something else. Volume on the speaker is on max, volume on the stylophone is max, pitch is at its highest. Let's see what this does. That's the sound of the police. So to wrap this video up, the last thing I need to do is to play Smoke on the Water on this thing, because you haven't truly mastered an instrument until you can play Smoke on the Water. That's fact, don't at me. That's probably the closest I'm going to get, isn't it? Well, I've got to say that I'm really liking the sound that you can get out of this tiny little beatbox, and the fact that it has a really cool retro design and you can pick it up for about $20 to $30. It's really not a bad price considering what you're getting out of this thing. The looping function works, but it is a bit temperamental. We did have a bit of trouble trying to get some of the loops going, and as you heard, we did have a tendency to make those loops sound absolutely abysmal, but I think that says more about my ability as a musician than the quality of the product itself. The Stylophone Beatbox is just such a simple and easy product to pick up and play and get a good beat out of, and it's just a great tool to experiment with. So if you're just getting into electronic music and you just want to try making out some drum patterns, some weird bass lines, this might be your guy. And with that, that's going to be it for another edition of Looted. If you like this video, hit like. If you really like all our videos, hit subscribe. We've got more videos on the way. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I've even got my own personal Twitter, which you can follow me on there. And if you want to support the channel further, check out our Patreon page, links in the description, and you can also join us and members of the community on our Discord server. We'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.